And there's never, after this, someone goes in there while we're meeting and has
All
their
right.
way.
All right, the time is 5:30 and time to call our Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission to order for today's meeting, February 25th, 2025. Ask Heidi if she will verify a quorum for us, please.
Present.
Present.
Here?
Here.
Very good. If you would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to everybody. I do have a little housekeeping that I will read here before we get started. If you parked your car in the rear gated parking lot, employee parking lot, please move it to the front, to the north parking lot to avoid having your car locked in. There is no public egress from the hallway to the south parking lot. The only public entry into the building is through the north entrance near the auditorium. All access to the DDS building is limited to staff only as a security precaution. If you wish to speak at tonight's meeting at the podium, please sign in at the sign-in sheet at the back table by the rear door. Before you speak at the podium, always state your name and address clearly for the record. When you do speak, address the chairman and do not speak to the audience or to the staff. Address all comments to the chairman, and then we will make sure those get answered for you. If you have handouts for the commission, give them to the administrative service staff desk so that they can distribute them. Restrooms and drinking fountains are down the hallway behind us. Feel free to use these facilities as needed. And there's no food or beverage other than water allowed in the meeting room at any time. Thank you all for coming. And the first item on tonight's agenda is the approval of our Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting minutes from January 28th, 2025.
Mr. Chairman?
Chairman,
Goodman. Yes.
I move that we approve the Planning and Zoning Commission regular minutes of January 28th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner McDermott with a second by Commissioner Van Wy to approve the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting minutes of January 28th, 2025 as published. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Item number 4 on tonight's agenda is to review and approve the Planning and Zoning Annual Report for calendar year 2024, and this will be presented by our Director, Maggie Castro.
Maggie, could you use the mic, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the report is divided into 4 different sections: Planning and Zoning Division, Building Safety Division, Environmental Programs Division, and the Permanent Services Division. This is a table that shows the 5-year comparison of activities for the planning and zoning section. In calendar year 2024, the overall level of activity was roughly the same as in 2023. If you compare it to 5 years ago, there was an increase of 10% from 2020. This map shows the cases that were approved by the Board of Supervisors in calendar year 2024. The map shows minor amendments, rezonings, special use permits, final plats, variances, and major amendments approved during the calendar year. In 2024, there was one major amendment, 3 minor amendments, 19 rezoning cases, 18 special use permits, 17 variances, and 4 final plats approved, for a total of 62 cases. This is an increase of 19% from calendar year 2023. There were 3 text amendments that were approved by the Board of Supervisors. One was an amendment to add solid waste facilities to different sections of the zoning ordinance. The other was a text amendment or an amendment to the bikeways master plan, and it was to update the map. And the other one was an amendment to section 902, which were the parking requirements of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. This table shows the permits and projects that were reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Division during the calendar year. There's an increase of approximately 37% in the number of permits reviewed by the planners compared to calendar year 2023. These are the outreach activities that were done by staff during the calendar year. Staff does a number of activities, whether it's activities at the high schools, activities at the Foothills Library. There's also some presentations at the Yuma East Country Club. There were 2 neighborhood meetings that were conducted for the major amendments to the comprehensive plan. And then staff also participated in the MCAS helicopter ride on October 7th. In addition to these outreach activities, staff also does informational sessions or educational sessions during when assisting customers at the front counter, and also during project assessment meetings. So staff participated in about 14 project assessment meetings during the calendar year. Zoning enforcement section. This table shows the activities for zoning enforcement section. In 2024, there was an increase of 25% in the total number of complaints received, and I'm comparing this to calendar year 2023. An increase of 67% in the total number of inspections, an increase of 63% in resolved cases, an increase of 10% in cases initialized, and an increase of 56% in unfounded complaints. The unresolved cases did result in a 40% decrease. And then this map shows where the zoning enforcement activity takes place. As you can see, most of the activity takes place in the Foothills planning area. And then there's also a cluster in the Northwest Yuma planning area. Also some activity in the over on the Mesa. This is a 5-year comparison of activity for the Building Safety Division. In 2024, there was an increase of approximately 17.5% in construction valuations, increase of 43% in new commercial construction, increase of 32% in new single-family residential permits, and an increase of 7% in total number of inspections. There was a decrease of 17% in average valuation of new single-family residences. Again, I'm comparing this to calendar year 2023. This map shows where permit activity took place. Like I said, similar to zoning enforcement activity, the majority of it, of the activity is in the Foothills planning area and also in Northwest Yuma planning area. This is a 5-year comparison of activities for the Environmental Programs Division. There was an increase of less than 1% in fees received, increase of 62% in general permit, sewage collection system construction authorizations, increase of over 100% in drinking water design approvals to construct. And then there was a decrease of 15%, 21%, and 15% in septic tank inspections, septic tank permits, and septic tank permits finalized. And then a decrease of 45% in pumper hauler inspections. And then the Permit Services Division continues with the implementation of the permitting software. It allows for automated land use planning, permitted inspections, and allows field staff to access permitting information from the field. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the presentation on the annual report.
Thank you, Maggie. Do any commissioners have questions of Maggie? If I could, Maggie, on your zoning complaints, increased from 265 to 331. Was there a pattern that you've seen there? Do you know what to attribute that kind of an increase to?
No, it looks like it's been going up since 2021. However, I'm not sure what that's
Well, just a
attributed
big
to.
increase. And also, the other thing that interested me is the average evaluation of single-family residents went down. Do you have any thoughts about what attributed that?
Mr. Chairman, the Chief Building Inspector may have more information as to that. As far as the total complaints received, that could also be attributed to the fact that when staff receives a complaint, we have been given direction that if staff receives a complaint, we are also to inspect properties in the vicinity of the property that the complaint is on to look for similar violations. And if there are similar violations on nearby properties, to also initialize cases on those properties.
So that would be considered a complaint even though the inspector himself found it when he was out?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions?
I just wanted to comment, 37% increase in the workload. More work and about the same size. And just keep on growing.
Thank you.
And thank you. A lot going on, as Matthias said, and so thank you for what you all do. On that note, sir, I'd like to make a motion that we accept everything as read.
We have a motion by Commissioner Van Wy to approve the report as presented. A second by Commissioner Rice. Discussion. While we're giving kudos, I just want to join the other guys in saying, you know, during the entire year of 2024, I never had one customer complain. Never had one. And that's pretty good. I live or work out in the Foothills area. So staff did all of this work and made all of this progress and kept people happy enough that they weren't calling to complain. And so that's quite an accomplishment. Very proud of all of you. Thank you. Is there any other comments? Any other discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to approve the report as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Report is approved, and thank you, Maggie. Item number 5 on tonight's agenda, rezoning case number 24-23 is going to be presented to us tonight by Jesus Carrillo.
Carillo, come on.
Carrillo, I can't see that.
Carillo.
I-
Carillo.
Go ahead and say it.
Jesus Carillo.
Carrillo. Can't make it up.
Making him blush. Look.
I know, it's all.
Case 24-23.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo, presenting rezoning case 2423. This is a request to rezone a .82 net acre portion of a parcel, 2.33 net acres in size, from heavy industrial to light industrial, 8,000 square foot minimum. The property is located in the Yuma Mesa plan area at 1071 South Walnut Avenue, Yuma. And the intent is to rezone the subject property to allow a new men's shelter for Crossroad Missions. This is the site plan. This is the zoning map. The subject property, it's in the crosshatch. The portion that is requesting to be rezoned, it's highlighted in red. Highlighted in green, it's currently zone light industrial. Highlighted in yellow, it's currently zone heavy industrial. The portions that are highlighted in gray are within the city of Yuma jurisdiction, and they're all part of the industrial general plan. This is the SEPN that was submitted by the applicant, and the portion that it's highlighted in red is the portion that is to be a request to be rezoned to light industrial. And this is the aerial view of the subject property, outlined in blue. And this is a picture looking east at the property. No comments or questions have been received by staff from residents. Staff recommends approval of rezoning case number 2423 based on the request being within the range of identified uses, densities, and intensities of the city of Yuma general plan. And that concludes staff presentation, and the applicants are present.
Very good. Thank you. Do any commissioners have questions of staff? Not at this point. Okay, rezoning case number 24-23. We'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting. We'll give the applicant, if he would like to speak first, or anyone who would like to speak concerning this in our public hearing is welcome to come forward, either for or against the project. No one wants to comment tonight. We'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting, and we'll come back to the commissioners. Do commissioners have any questions of the applicant that you would like to hear?
Make a motion to approve rezoning case number 2423.
I second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rosales with a second by Commissioner Van Wy to recommend approval of rezoning case 24-23 as presented by staff. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And we will move to item number 6 on tonight's agenda, rezoning case number 24-25, presented by Javier Barraza.
There you
Perfect.
go. Not bad, not bad.
Easy.
Nailed it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Javier Barraza, senior planner, presenting rezoning case 2425. This is a request to rezone 10 gross acres, a parcel that is 10 gross acres in size, from RA10 to RA5. This is within the 70-74 decibel noise zone. This project is located in Yuma Mesa planning area, southeast corner of County 15th Street and Avenue 1E. The intent is to split the property into 2 parcels for residential and agricultural development. This is the vicinity and zoning maps showing the subject parcel highlighted and crosshatched in red. Property is in follow, and it's accessed on the north via County 15th Street and on the west via Avenue 1E. Both roads are improved. Parcel 38 To the north is zone RA10 in agriculture. Parcel 37 to the northeast is in follow, zone RA10 as well. Parcel 3 to the east, zone RA10 in citrus. Parcel to the south 002 is RA5 in agriculture. Parcel number 2 to the west is in follow, zone RA10. And finally, parcel 22 is in ag. Again, zone RA10. All these areas under the 70-74 decibel noise zone. This is an aerial view from 2022. This is a view looking southeast at the property from the intersection of Avenue 1E and County 15th Street. Looking northeast at the property from the southwest corner. It's a view looking at the County 15th Street on the upper left corner and Avenue 1E on the lower right. No comments or questions received by staff from residents. MCS recommends denial of this request. Staff recommends approval of rezoning case number 2425, subject to the following performance condition. Within 60 days of approval by the board, the owner shall do the following: record an infrastructure disclosure statement, record a navigation disclosure statement, record an ag disclosure statement, and record a schedule for development statement. Also, the following schedule for development. Number 1, within 2 years of approval by the board, the owner shall split the property by means of a land division permit in accordance with Section 507 of the Yuma County zoning ordinance. Any required irrigation and egress easements shall be recorded with the land division permit. And number 2, within 2 years of approval by the board, and prior to approval of the land division permit and the development of any of the parcels, all lots shall be provided with means of irrigation and access to irrigation water. The owner applicant shall submit a letter from the irrigation district to the Department of Development Services confirming that a satisfactory irrigation system is installed and the individual lots will have access to irrigation water. Mr. Chairman, this concludes staff's presentation and the applicant is present.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have questions of staff at this point?
Just want to comment on the comment to the 70-74 dB noise.
That's, Mr. Chairman, that is MCA's comment.
So we're not violating any laws by approving this, are we?
Mr. Chairman, in the zoning ordinance, residential uses are allowed if they're engaged in agricultural uses, 74, 75. So
Since it's going to be remaining to RA5, then we're good.
it'll be an ag,
Right,
yes.
okay, thank you.
It will be allowed under that noise zone. Will they have to design some noise attenuation, 30 decibel noise zones? I mean, decibels?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have questions of staff? If not, we'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Would the applicant like to speak first? If not, we'll ask the public hearing if anyone in the audience would like to speak in favor or in opposition to this rezoning request. No one's arising to speak, so we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting, come back to commissioners. Do commissioners have any questions of the applicant that you'd like to ask?
If I may revert back, sir, what are the
Commissioner Van
benefits?
Loan.
Thank you, sir. What are the benefits of rezoning from 10 to 5?
Mr. Chairman, I will defer that question to the applicant.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Be able to do 5.
they maintain the agriculture on the property, then they can build a site, a residence on the property.
So that is the key of why the county is at this, I mean, we find ourselves in opposition or not compatible with what the Marines are asking for is because it's agriculture use and we allow that to happen. Okay,
Oh. I have a question.
Commissioner McDermott.
So there's nothing on the property right now? I'm sorry?
The property is fully vacant. It's vacant.
Your mic's off.
Your mic's off.
I don't know what you guys.
Can I use yours?
There you go.
Oh, there you
The
go.
land's fallow, Bobby. It's vacant.
It's vacant,
Vacant.
so it's just a, it's
Got a bunch of
just
little
a
X's on it.
prospective, you know, rezoning just in case. I really have a problem with those when there is no real plan for doing anything and just splitting it into two parcels.
Perhaps it would be good if the applicant is here, if he'd like to come forward and explain his plans with the property.
Donald Burns, 14315 South Saturn Avenue, Somerton, Arizona, 85350. Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm I'm requesting this to go through so that way I can split the property up so that I can build a house. So the property isn't going to be in fallow. But I can't do that and I can't present a plan until it has been rezoned to an RA5.
Why is, staff, why is that? He couldn't build a home on an RA10?
Mr. Chairman, the property can be developed under its current zoning district. I believe that the applicant wants to split the property in two and build a home on each of the 5 acres.
Which is fine. That's the applicant's right to be able to split it, and as long as they maintain agriculture on there, they'll be able to build a home and maintain our requirements. So,
Any other questions of the applicant by commissioners? If not, thank you for coming to answer those questions for us. So the public hearing portion has been closed, and we're back to the commission for discussion.
Would you accept the motion, Mr. Commissioner?
Certainly.
I make a motion that we accept rezoning case number 2425 as presented.
second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bowers with a second by Commissioner Rosales to recommend approval of rezoning case number 24-25 as presented by staff. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
There's one dissenter. The motion to recommend approval has been approved. We will move to item number 7 on tonight's agenda. Item number 7 on tonight's agenda is rezoning case number 25-01 presented by Jesus Carrera. Carrera.
Mr.
I'll
Chairman,
get it, Jesus.
can you also open item number 8, special use permit case number 2503?
I certainly will. We'll also open special use permit case 25-03 as these are related.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo, presenting rezoning case number 2501. The request is to rezone a parcel 2.5 gross acres in size from rural area 10 acres minimum to suburban ranch 2 acres minimum. The property is located in the Yuma Mesa planning area, southwest corner of alignments of County 17 and 3/8 Street and Avenue B 5/8 Somerton. And the intent is to build a residence. This is the zoning map. The zoning property is in the crosshatch, highlighted in red, parcel number 20th. Parcel 212070001 to the north, it's owned by the state of Arizona, and it's currently zoned RA10, and it's undeveloped desert. Parcel 17 to the northeast is zoned SR2, and is the location of a manufactured home. Parcel 19 to the east is zoned RA10, and it's vacant. Parcel 28 to the southeast is zone RE10 and is a location of a residence. Parcel 28 to the southeast, parcel 26 and 27 to the south are zone RE10, are improved with a site-built home and citrus trees respectively. Lastly, parcel number 21 to the west is on RA10. It's improved with a site-built home. This is the aerial view of the subject property, outlined in blue. This is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. Staff received today one letter in opposition from two neighbors within the 200-foot radius. MCAS provided comments. Staff recommends approval rezoning case 2501. Staff should suggest the following performance conditions. Within 60 days of approval by the board of supervisors, the owner or agent shall record in agriculture and infrastructure, navigation and schedule for development disclosure statements. And for schedule for development, prior to development or within 2 years of approval by the board supervisor, whichever occurs first, the owner shall apply for the encroachment permit with the Yuma County Engineering Department to improve the egress easement to the subject property by application of a concrete driveway. Number 2, the subject property shall be provided with the means of irrigation and access to irrigation water. The owner applicant shall submit a letter from the irrigation district to the Department of Development Services confirming that a satisfactory irrigation system is installed and the lot will have access to irrigation water. Moving forward to special use permit case number 2503. The special use permit is per section 602.03E of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel 2.5 gross acres in size, zone suburban range 2-acre minimum. And the intent is to allow an accessory dwelling unit for a family member. This is the site plan. Portion that is highlighted in red is the intent location of the ADU. Same, received one letter in opposition from the two neighbors within a 200-foot radius. Probably comes MCA some comments. Staff recommends approval of special use permit case 2503. Staff suggests attaching the following performance conditions. Within 60 days of approval by the board of supervisors, the owner or agents shall record in agriculture, aviation, and infrastructure disclosure statements. And for operational conditions, the approval of the special use permit is based on the site plan submitted by the applicant. Any change from this site plan requires prior approval by the plan director. And the principal dwelling, accessory dwelling unit shall not be rented out separately. Parcels highlighted in red are the neighbors against this proposal, and that concludes that presentation, and the owners are present. Any questions for staff?
Very good, thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Van Noy.
Yes, staff, not related to this subject property, but recently we approved a new build construction and an ADU behind it. That building now is not ever been lived in and is now up for sale. So my question is, how do we hold the new prospective owners to the same requirements and not renting out that ADU? Because I personally think that this last people that did it, they did it for an investment purpose, and that's why it's being sold for $1.2 million.
Mr. Chairman, the special use permits for the property. In this case, if they rent it out, they don't follow these conditions, the permit can be revoked, can be void.
But how do we hold, let's say that we approve this one, they build it, and 6 months later they decide to sell it. How do we hold the new owners to that same? We can't, right?
It's part of the title process, and it's up to the due diligence of the buyers, and the special use permit goes with the property, not with the owner.
That's what, okay. Right.
That would be an enforcement issue at that point and be brought up to the new owners, but that's what the title search brings up, all the recorded documents and whatever gets there.
Any other commissioners have questions of staff?
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner Bauer.
Yes, on both cases, the development evaluation checklist score is 265. That's low compared to other ones that we've seen. What's the lowest they could go and still?
We approved one at, I think at 235 a couple months ago.
235?
Yeah, I mean, that's a scoring system.
Mr.
Call you up.
Chairman,
Not yet.
Mr. Chairman, the score on the development evaluation checklist is only one factor that staff uses to formulate a recommendation. It is not the only factor.
Right.
Chairman?
So it could be recommended, you could get a high score and recommend denial. So it works both ways.
Okay.
Commissioner McDermott.
It- There is legal access, right?
That's correct, Mr.
From which side of this?
It's located on the east side of the property.
From the east side? Okay, okay.
Any other commissioners have questions of staff? If not, we'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting and ask if the applicant would like to speak first.
Yeah, I own the property next to him.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, the applicant would like to speak first, so we're gonna let the applicant speak first, and then you can come up following the applicant, okay?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys,
All right, is it better now? Can you
a
hear?
little bit,
All right,
but that's why I came up here, because I can't hear from where I'm sitting.
all right. The applicant gets to speak first. He's asked to speak first, so we're gonna let the applicant speak, and then you can come up second, okay? So if you'll just have a seat for a moment, let the applicant make their case, and then you can come up and speak second,
I
okay?
heard that.
Okay. Applicant, come forward, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Susie Zambrano, 691 East George Place,
I
Somerton,
can't hear you.
Somerton, Arizona, 85350.
Hi, Rode Zambrano, same address.
We're really excited about the possibility to be able to build a home on this land. We have planted quite a few fruit trees there and look forward to be able to have our family there if possible. The accessory dwelling unit that we would like is for my mom. I would like for her to be able to have her last year working in the Taylor Farms, and then that way I can take care of her in her old age.
Anything else from you folks? Do any commissioners have questions of the applicant? Okay, we'll let you guys go back to your seat, and then we'll hear public comment, and if we have any other questions, we'll call you back.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone that'd like to speak concerning rezoning case 25-01 or special use case 2503? Your name and address for the record, sir.
My name is Jerome Chuba. I'm at 3574 County 17 and a half Street, Somerton. I'm next door to that piece of property. We're zoned R10 out there, then there's already 2 houses on that 10 acres. And don't need 2 more. Don't want them. I've been out there for 45, going on 50 years, living in that same place. I don't believe there's anybody else in that neighborhood that's been there as long as I have been. I don't mind if he has that piece of property and he farms it, but I do not want 2 houses put up over there. That's putting septic tanks a little close to the well, over and over out on the mesa. I don't know what you think, but to me, it's a health hazard. And that's what I represent Gary Lett, who owns the other piece of property behind me that's adjacent to that. And his opinion is the same.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming and sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Is there any other speaker tonight that would like to speak concerning this rezoning case number 25-01 or the special use permit case 25-03? No one else is coming forward, so we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting and come back to commissioners for discussion and action.
Is there 2 other homes on that property?
Can I see the picture again?
Chairman, the subject property is currently vacant.
That's kind of what yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure, yeah, okay, thank you.
So it's the parcel in blue?
Yes.
Okay. And the principal parcel is down at the bottom. Is that not part of that parcel?
The subject
Chairman,
parcel's all in blue, correct?
Property being proposed to be rezoned is a property highlighted and outlined in blue.
I think probably the points being made is that originally there was a 10-acre parcel that has been split. Now it's a 2.5-acre parcel. But,
Oh, okay.
but the 2.5-acre parcel has no development on it.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this property was created back in 1980 The two parcels that are to the east of the subject property were created with a variance in
1980?
1980 as well.
1980.
Yeah, they're also 2.5 acre parcels zoned RA10.
And Jesus, where is the access at?
So there isn't a house already on that parcel, is that correct?
That is correct.
That's a road?
Okay, so we're building two parcels, or two houses on it as opposed to one.
Building one house and one ADU.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, make a motion?
commissioners, we're here, yes.
I
Commissioner
move
Arnold.
that we approve rezoning case number 25-01 and 25-0.
One at a time.
One at a time, yes.
second.
25-01 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Van Wy with a second by Commissioner Bowers to recommend approval of rezoning case 25-01 as presented by staff. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, I also move that we approve special use permit case number 25-03 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Van Wy with a second by Commissioner Bowers to recommend approval of special use permit case 25-03 as presented by staff. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. We now will move to item number 9 on tonight's agenda, special use permit case 25-02 presented by Jesus Carrillo.
Getting closer. Getting closer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request is per section 602.03E of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel 1.04 gross acres in size, zone suburban ranch 1 acre minimum. The property is located in the Yuma Valley Planning Area, 6419 West County 12.5 Street in Yuma. The intent is to allow an accessory dwelling unit for a family member. This is the zoning map, property highlighted in red with the crosshatch. It's the subject property. Parcel 6 to the north is zone rural area, 40 acres minimum, and it's in agriculture. Parcel to the east and south are zone SR1 and are improved with the mixture of manufactured home and site-built homes. Parcel to the southwest are zone manufactured home subdivision, 10,000 square foot minimum and 20,000 square foot minimum, and are developed with a mixture of manufactured homes and site builds. Parcel 27, located approximately 213 feet to the southwest, is zone local commercial and manufactured home park. Parcel directly to 39, 38 are currently zoned SR2 and are in location of a manufactured home park. This is the aerial view of the subject property. Property is all in blue. This is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant, and the portion that is highlighted in red is the intent location of the ADU. There's an existing manufactured home on the property. No comments or questions have been received by staff from residents. Staff recommends approval of special use permit case number 2502 with the performance conditions. Within 60 days of approval by the Board of Supervisors, the owner or agent shall record in agriculture, infrastructure, and navigation disclosure statements. And for operational conditions, the approval of special use permit is based on the site plan submitted by the applicant. Any change from this site plan requires prior approval by the plan director. And the principal dwelling and accessory dwelling unit shall not be rented out separately. That concludes staff presentation, and the owner are present.
Thank you, sir. Do any commissioners have questions of staff? If not, did you have a question?
Yes,
Commissioner Van Wy?
one second, please.
I have one, Mr. Commissioner.
I'm good, thank you.
Commissioner Allen.
It's showing the new ADU, but then it also says the existing manufactured home to be removed. In the end, is there only gonna be one building on the parcel?
Mr. Chairman, the first intention was to remove the manufactured home, but I'll direct that question to the owner.
It's an ADU, it wouldn't be required to move the house. We would not require it.
I think to build it first, just, maybe that's why, it's either, yeah, yeah.
Any other commissioner have questions of staff? Commissioner McDermott?
Does the ADU have to have a separate water supply?
No, I think the ADU typically has the same water supply and the same electric supply. Separate septic sometimes.
Yeah, okay. So shows a well up in the corner, and then the mobile home is is the mobile home on that well as well?
We'll have to ask
Okay.
we'll let the applicant come forward.
Back to the plot map, please.
I would say yes by the site plan, otherwise it would
Looks
reference.
like it is.
Yeah, by the site plan, I would say yes.
So let's do this. Let's open the public hearing portion of the meeting and ask the applicant if he'd like to speak first, and he could answer some of the questions that were being asked. Name and addresses, please.
Es Ana Navarrete, la dirección 1059 Jennifer Avenue, Somerton, Arizona.
Armando Duran, the address is 2257 East 15th Street, Yuma, Arizona. I'll be translating for her. That's my mom.
Okay, so I think there was a couple of questions on the table. One is the plans to leave the current manufactured home on the property?
Yeah, correct. The manufacturer will stay.
And number two, is that manufactured home receiving its water from the well?
Correct. ¿Te viene del pozo? Yeah, yes.
And
for
the,
sure.
and the ADU unit would be receiving water from that same well?
Del pozo.
Okay.
El agua. Yeah, correct.
Any,
Be new septic.
Be a new septic.
New septic,
New
right?
septic,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that's all.
Yeah, it would be a separate septic tank.
all right. Any other questions of the applicant by commissioners?
What is the purpose of the ADU?
She will be living in it. Currently, my brother lives in the manufactured home, so she's trying to move in back to her property.
Any other questions of the applicant? Commissioner McDermott?
Who will be living in the additional unit?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Currently, you have your brother living in the manufactured
Correct.
home, and your mom's going to live in the ADU.
Correct.
Right.
There's three though, you'll have the house, the ADU, and the trailer?
Well, the
No,
house,
the manufactured
house.
House is ADU.
Okay.
It'll be two properties total.
Can you go back to the area, the aerial photo, please?
It's a mobile house.
There you go, it's a mobile home.
Okay, okay.
All right, any other questions of commissioners from the applicant? Anything else you'd like to share with us? All right, thank you. If we need any other questions, we'll ask you to come back. And we will now ask if there's anyone else in the audience who would like to speak concerning this request during our public hearing. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting and come back to the commissioners for discussion and action.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Van Wyk.
I move that we go ahead and approve special use permit case number 25-02 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Van Wy with a second by Commissioner Bowers to recommend approval of special use permit case 25-02 as presented by staff. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously approved. Recommended for approval. Item number 10 on tonight's agenda. Request to initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance, revising sections 202, definitions 802.02, permitted uses 603.02, and a list of other ordinances that will be affected concerning backyard fowl. This is presented by Richard
You got this. I believe in you. Munguia.
Munguia.
There we go.
Munguia. Thank you, Richard. It'll be Richard for me, okay?
Okay. Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of pictures like everybody else did. This text amendment was presented for discussion to the Planning and Zoning Commission in November with no changes recommended. It was then presented to the Board of Supervisors in January of this year, and no changes were suggested at that meeting either. So we are now moving forward with a request to initiate a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. Staff has not made any changes since it was last presented. In a nutshell, it's just conforming with what the ARS has stated.
Like deja vu, we went through this already.
I know, I was like, let's not go through it all again.
Yeah, we remember this from before. The state passed some new legislation that required us to conform our Planning and Zoning Commission or Planning and Zoning text and ordinances to match it.
Correct. So I can go through this again if you would love to hear it, or staff is ready to accept any
If I remember
recommendations.
correctly, Chairman, you're the only one that had issues
You
last
all
time.
had issues with it.
About 15 feet or 20 feet
Right,
was,
remember?
they were the only one that was
From the
complaining.
fence line,
You guys, Commissioner McDermott, did you have a
No,
question?
no, I was just going to say, I don't need to hear it again either. I just didn't know if there were.
If she don't
folks
want to hear it, you know dang well you don't want to hear it.
Well, we did such a good job, and whether there were folks in the audience who wished to speak.
We'll certainly find that out. Before I say all of my pieces, we'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting and ask if there's anyone in the public who want to comment.
Antonio?
Anything
Airplanes
like
and the
this?
chickens.
He loves his chickens.
They're not 2 stories.
Well, you gotta put some kind of a noise thing in there. For the
Poor
chicken.
chickens.
Yeah.
More chickens.
Anyone in the public would like to speak concerning this proposed text amendment? If not, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting and come back to the commissioners for discussion and action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we request or to initiate the text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance as presented by Mr. Mungua.
I'll second.
Munguia.
Thank you.
Munguia.
I wish you could get that right.
I know, right?
All right, Commissioner Van Wy has made a motion, and it is seconded by Commissioner Bowers to recommend a initiation of this text amendment, or to initiate this text amendment to the Union County Planning and Zoning ordinances as presented by staff. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Mr.
I-
Chairman, keep in
yes.
mind that this same case will be brought to you next month as the actual public hearing.
Yeah,
on the
you'll
text
bring,
amendment.
because you're gonna actually initiate it and it'll be here, right? So that's where I can state all of my statements at the next meeting. Item number 11 on tonight's agenda. Discussion by commissioners, members, and public director of events attended, current events, the schedule for future planning and zoning commissions. Does anyone have anything to offer tonight? Seeing no one, we'll go to item number 12 on tonight's agenda, call to the public. This is the time that the public can come forward and say anything they want to say. Does anyone have anything on their heart tonight? Seeing no one there, we will close the call to the public and come to item number 13 on tonight's agenda, is to adjourn. So without objection, this meeting stands adjourned.